Hi. Um, I was watching a video this morning and they were talking, well, the person was, I think it's My Charts is the YouTube channel. Um, and the person was talking about timelines in the Old Testament and in the Bible. He's a bit of a historian, I guess. He has a lot of interesting YouTubes. And as I'm watching this, and this is about from trying to figure out when Adam and Eve left the Garden of Eden, I guess, or the no, to the creation of the earth according to the Old Testament, and it was really fascinating because the one thing is that people really didn't start writing until like 5,000 years ago, over like they said 33 something BCE, and oh, and because you don't know, most of my life it's been BC's before Christ, AD is after Christ or something like that. And people, historians are like, well, the world isn't all Christian, so that's kind of a rough way to do it. So now it's BCE and CE. So it's the Common Era and before the Common Era. They didn't change the dates or anything like that. They just changed the nomenclature. So it was really interesting what he did. It's there's no facts, no proofs, no hardcore proofs about like Moses and Genesis and all that sort of stuff. It isn't until Babylonia destroyed Jerusalem that they have the Israelites and the Judites and Babylonia and someplace else, they have records of this period where this happened, so they can date that. They can get that date. And then he said, and then so many years later, and it says in the Bible, so many years later this happened, and then so many years later, and they were actually, those three dates, they can come up with pretty good accurate timing for those dates. So then you have to go backwards where the Bible says so many years, this person lived 900 years, this person lived this, and so they have. And he said that it's kind of interesting because they have the going off the I'm going to say it wrong. Oh, I was trying so hard to remember the Tanakh, the Tanakh, the Tanakh. No, the Tanakh, I think it is. It's actually that's the Hebrew Bible. The Torah is the first five books. The Old Testament calls the books of Moses, and of course Moses, didn't live all that time. So they say that a lot of that is like people just writing down what they've been told, what's been passed down from generation to generation. They finally got writing and they started writing all this stuff down. So of course, the dates aren't going to be accurate and stuff like that. But they also found an older version of the Jewish Bible, which still has these people, the characters like Adam living 930 years in both, and their ages, but specific things happening at different times. So one theory that they have right now is that in order to reach a certain date, somebody actually went back to some of the writings and said, if we change this date here, if we change this here, we change this a little bit here, this will all come out to being 4,000 years from here to here. And that's kind of what, they're kind of thinking happened. Actually, the human race has been along a lot longer than that. But the stories being written down are much shorter than actual time span. So, and a lot of people get very upset who are like, "Oh, the Bible's absolutely right," or the Torah is absolutely right. It's like, chill. We're talking about human beings. Human beings aren't perfect. Therefore, the things they write are not perfect. People get so angry with me when I say that. Especially when I say, don't trust the machines to be perfect. But they're machines, they're perfect. Who built the machines? Humans. Who designed the machines? Humans. Are humans perfect? No, then the machines cannot be perfect. So and people get very upset with me. I guess I'm a little too logical. It's kind of interesting. Part of this, he said there is the mythos, where mythology comes from, and then there's logos, which is like logical thinking. I tend to be fairly logical. I do love the mythology, but he also pointed out that mythology isn't mean that it's not true. It means that there's probably some that for mythology there's some truth in there. Certain things have happened, and people have built a story around that to help them understand and be more able to pass it on to other generations. And I was like, well, yes, storytelling makes perfect sense to me. So a lot of the Old Testament is actually a bit of storytelling. Even the Hebrews, the Jews, they actually have certain books of their Tanakh. I'm going to kill that word. Their Bible that are listed as stories. Like the book of Esther is a story. Esther probably wasn't a real person, but there was probably a person, and people, and some of the people in there are based on real people. And what happened isn't exactly what happened, but it's close enough that people can understand what actually, can relate. So let's say there was this huge battle where the Jews and the other Israelites defeated this group, whoever, however many years it was and stuff like that. And certain things had to happen, and they know certain things happened, but they don't actually know what happened when and stuff. They do know this happened, so they come up with a story to help people understand how that happened. And I realized as I'm watching this that a lot of the videos, the scriptural videos I had done, where I was trying to inject a little bit of history and stuff, I screwed it up. So I've deleted all of those. And I felt terrible deleting all of those because I worked hard on them, but I didn't do diligence. So I deleted those. And now I'm going to start with Genesis again. Only I'm going to do a little more research. That way I have a better storytelling. I can tell you a little bit more with a human touch, not just reading the scriptures to you because they can easily be misread, but to inject little things that I do know that I've learned in the correct order. I had some things backwards and stuff because I love history, but I'm terrible with the dates. I have very little sense of actual time, which gets me into trouble a lot because it's like, well, didn't that just happened 2 days ago? It was 3.5 years. It's like, really? Okay. I have no sense of time. It's terrible. Anyway, so it's like I don't want to put things up there and people watching and go, she doesn't know what she's talking about, which would not be inaccurate. So I want to give a humanistic review of my journey through the scriptures, which is not the first time through. It's probably why I'm getting things mixed up because I don't have them in chronological order in my brain. But anyway, I'm going to be starting over again. So I took down my Proverbs, I took down my Book of Ruth, and I took down the books of Samuels, even though I really loved what I did with the Book of Samuels, but of Samuel. But I'm going to go through it again, and I'm going to do it a little more carefully. And I'm going to try to go through it in the order of the Hebrew Bible. Go through the Old Testament in the order of the Hebrew Bible. A lot of people say, oh, well, Christ replaced the Old Testament, so we don't need it. We just need the New Testament. Not really. You need them both. So anyway, that's my rambling. Have a great day. Bye.